Has Trump coin and the White House new crypto policy changed the game for meme coins? The buzz is huge, but is it sustainable? Mike, I think it's safe to say that we didn't buy any Trump coin.
No, this is my problem. Every time we get news updates for anything that has flown up in the crypto space, I keep wondering to myself, why am I spending so much time analyzing futures and derivatives and the stock market? I don't get involved in crypto enough. So yeah, I missed the Trump rise, but I also missed the Melania coin rise.
That's right.
Which happened right afterwards.
Right after. Crazy. So after the last cycle, because in the last cycle I was going through all the meme coin stuff, and it was great. It was great. Made a lot of money and all that sort of thing, but it takes all your time. And then you have, 9 out of 10 losers, maybe even more than that before you get the winner. So, you already have to have a lot of money before you can place these bets. That makes sense. But I don't even care about the rise. And we could talk about this coin the way that it was like with Hawk2a when we talked about the Hawk2a coin. But that's not what this is. Let us not lose the significance of, let me play this clip from CoffeeZilla talking about the Trump coin first, and then we'll come back on the backside. All right, starts off.
But at least at first glance, it appears to be what it looks like, which is a former president about to be president using the hype of their campaign to launch. I mean, it's so insane. I mean, it's funny in its insanity, but it's also gross in how cynical it really is. I mean, you have to understand, most of the people who actually buy this, like sincerely buy this, are like diehard DGen crypto heads who might make some money because they spend all day on Deck Screener looking for coins, and they caught this at 100K, or they caught this at 10 million, and now it's 13 billion, right? They're going to make money. Most people who this is actually targeted at, which is normies, who go, what's a Solana? What's I just learned about what Bitcoin was. What's a smart contract? Can I buy it with a credit card? Like the people buying this with a credit card? Roasted, dude. Game over. Obliterated. You're gone. You're done. You're never gonna. And then, by the way, of course, the third group, besides the snipers, the people, the degens who are looking for this, who are going to make money, the public's going to get wrecked, and then the other people are going to make money, as obviously the people who are going to make the most money are the insiders. Number one, the part of the Trump camp that knew this was coming out, knew the contract address, who got it right when it launched, right? Obviously. The other people who are going to make money are the insiders who are, it's not that clear, but let's just break down, because I think that's kind of intentional that it's not that clear. Here's the creators, here's the allocation. So there's 6 groups who are getting the rest of the 80%, and they're all labeled very obscurely, like it's just,
I love this.
Creators in CIC Digital 1, CIC Digital 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's it. That's all the description we get, at least on this page. And you can see that they're not locked up at the start. They have a 3 to 12 month lockup duration, depending on the group. And basically, they unlock over 24 months. That's the punchline. So,
okay, so this to me means that this coin is so straight down the middle a Ponzi scheme. There's no MSTR wondering. There's no Safe Moon wondering, anything like that. This coin is a pump and dump. In fact, It's pitched as a pump and dump. If you go to the getTrumpmemes.com, which I can't believe is a website that actually is official from the government, from Trump exists, but it's like, have fun with this freaking gambling coin. Okay, fine.
So you think it's more of a rug pull?
Not even a rug pull, because it's out in the open. Everyone knows what this is. It's play this game of musical chairs and see who, just get in as early as you can and hope the game keeps going for the next for the next 4 years, which I just find to be fun. And then it's sort of fun to like, hey, I hold a bunch of like Trump coin. It's sort of vestigial inside of your wallet, even if it goes to nothing. What I find to be absolutely fascinating, and for some reason, I'm not really seeing a lot of people talk about this, is that this, along with the new policy from the Trump administration about how to think about crypto, which we'll take a look at in a second, now it's sort of like open season now for anyone who wants to make a coin like this to do any, like the worry about doing something like this in the past is that somehow the SEC was going to change the rules and come after you.
Right.
Well, how can they do that? You'll be able to point to the Trump coin and be like, well, Trump's doing this. Does that give cover to people to be able to now just go crazy with pump and dump schemes all over the place, as long as they go, hey, we're following the same plan Trump is?
So Trump was actually challenged on this in a press conference and asked about the benefits that he would receive from this. And I think his response was largely along the lines of, oh, I don't even know. I know I launched it on Truth Social, but I don't even know where the price is. Can you guys tell me where the price is? Leaning into the press for where the current price was, which of course I find completely impossible that he doesn't know where the price is. But you're right. It represents a new way for politicians as well to leverage the crypto environment in order to gain beneficial gain from this. Now, this one's interesting because I tend to look at coins that are launched like this under the under tools like RugCheck to actually look for risks associated with projects. And what I find interesting about the Trump coin is that the main thing that they point out about it is that the top 10 holders hold more than 80% of the coin. Right. And that to me would represent a big concern, right?
Exactly.
What are your thoughts?
Well, the thing is that in all the videos I've seen about it, this is said. People know this. Mm-hmm. People know that it's a bunch of insiders, and they're just like, okay, but a bunch of people make money on it, and I might make money on it too. I know I could lose it all.
So CoffeeZilla's point is that it's a bunch of normies who are going to try to jump in on this on the centralized exchanges. Because of course, like Coinbase listed it almost a day after it was launched on Solana. So now it's on the centralized exchanges and tradable by the quote unquote normies, as he was describing, or what we'll consider the retail trading audience, and that they're ultimately going to be paying the price for this. Well, indeed, that does seem to be the case. The price just keeps tanking on both Trump and Melania coin.
Right. So, but the scam part of it, whenever you're dealing with a scam, and you let me know if you disagree, is that there has to be a level of dishonesty.
Okay.
And I'm not seeing any dishonesty here. Even for the people who are not used to the crypto space, they're just like, oh, this is fun. A lot of people are talking about it. Let me get in. Like when my friend contacted me and told me about it at midnight, hey, what's going on with this coin? He wasn't thinking this was a great long-term investment. I don't even hear anybody making that claim. Whereas a bunch of these other scam coins that we've seen, SafeMoon being a classic example, it was this idea of, no, you are invested in this coin. We're using the meme hype engine in order to generate revenue, which will then reinvest within the project to make it more valuable, more worthwhile, blah, blah, blah. This is promise that your purchase is in some way an investment, even if you're gambling. Sure. That's not being said this at all. It's sort of like, it's done. This is the coin. Trade it at your heart's content, whatever you want to be doing. And that to me is very it's as honest as a casino is. And I go, that's fine. And I don't see that as a criminal enterprise if people are walking in. Now, some people know more about the odds of a slot machine than some of the other people, but I think both of them understand it's a gamble. And I think CoffeeZilla also makes a great point that this isn't even like the Trump meme coin or the Trump luxury watches or Trump steak or whatever, where there's an implied value. There is no implied value over here. Like they didn't launch this going, this is going to go to the moon and all that. None of that. They just said, this is our coin. That's it. And
all that's true. But I guess we get back to the heart of the conflict of interest here, right? Trump using the presidency and his position of power in order to launch a meme coin right before he became president in order to gain some benefit from it, right? Now he can take the position that he's not even aware of where his financial position is in it. And the price has come down since then. And that ultimately there's some kind of agreed upon lockup period for the original holders over some period of time. You can sell in 3 months, you can sell in 6 months, and so on and so forth. All that's true. But I guess there's this second question I have, which is because of the anonymity of cryptocurrency, we can't tell who's actually participating in the trading activity that occurred right after it was launched. And there's one particular aspect to this story that's interesting to me, which is who's the person who bought $1 million worth of it right prior to it skyrocketing. Are you familiar with this?
No.
So let me share my screen and I'll show you this conversation that took place on Binance. Somebody bought $1 million worth of Trump coin in USDC which would have been worth over $100 million almost immediately after that point. And so, I'm not sure what happened. I haven't traced this exact address back on the blockchain to see what actually happened with his position. Feel free in the comments to let us know if you guys are tracking this one as well. But I am kind of curious about these types of on-chain transactions that aren't necessarily tied to the original owners of the coin itself. Is that a transaction that we should be paying attention to? I'm not implying that it's Trump. I'm just implying that it is fascinating to me that there were a number of pretty large players that were able to get into the coin before it skyrocketed.
Well, let's say it is Trump.
Okay.
Right? Let's say it's the worst case scenario is Trump or the people close to him, and it was done for this pump scheme. Still, I have no real problem with it because when I take a look at how politicians make their money anyway, this is ironically the most transparent of the ways I've seen them make money, and I'd rather this than there's some lobbyist to be beholden to or some PAC or whatever it is. It's like, okay, launch the pump and dump scheme. It's pumping, it's dumping, done.
Then if you want it to be transparent, then my expectation would be that Trump would actually report the gains that he received from this. Then
I think that would be ball. If he did that, I think that would be very in Trump style and baller. But I just wanted to read here because we just saw the Trump coin, but I just want to read the other side of it, which is the administration's position on cryptocurrency, because I think both these two together opens up the discussion for me.
Sure thing.
So not to go through it all, but basically it's a policy that the White House is pushing, and so they want to protect and promote the ability of individual citizens and private sector entities alike to access and use cryptocurrencies for mining and validating. So that covers both proof of work, proof of stake, promoting and protecting the sovereignty of United States dollars. So they don't want they want like reliable stable coins. Protecting and promoting fair and open access to banking services, which has always been one of the stated goals for cryptocurrency, but means that we're not moving away from the banking system, but we're actually staying with the banking system plus crypto. Providing regulatory clarity and certainty built on technology neutral regulations, frameworks that account for emerging technologies. And so here they're calling later on for a bunch of research to be done over the next 3 to 6 months in order to make concrete policies at the SEC and the CFTC of the government. And then finally, taking measures to protect Americans from the risk of central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, which threaten the stability of our financial system. I would never have expected a government, much less the United States government, to say anything like this or do anything like this.
It's pro-crypto, and I love it.
It's pro-crypto, and the fact that it is paired with this Trump coin, Melania coin nonsense, craziness, I just go, the Wild West is open now for the next four years. They're not coming for these people. How is there going to be any news stories about? So now I'm looking for the next Safe Moon. I'm looking for the next Hex. I'm looking for the next Moon coin because we got 4 years of these projects are going to come out of the woodwork. I mean, how could it not? That to me is what the trade is. Now go crazy for me. Go crazy with the hype coins because we're going to see things like we've never seen before.
Well, it does feel like, and particularly in watching how price action showed up on both Trump coin and Melania coin. I mean, obviously scanning the whole decks for these types of opportunities that are tied to any type of marketing event, any type of public figure is worth taking a look at because there's some short-term swings to be had from them. And clearly market participants are already scanning the decks for these things. The moment they end up getting launched, there's almost immediate capital being poured into them. That said, that's a little too risky for my appetite, but certainly worth watching from the sidelines. And I'll stick on the centralized exchanges for now. But the other thing that came out of this, though, is not just pro Bitcoin, pro crypto executive orders, but also it appears the SEC has issued a new note or a new initiative to make it possible for banks and other financial institutions to start custodying Bitcoin on behalf of their clients. And I think this is also a catalyst that we need to be paying attention to. This framework basically makes it possible for more custodian-based financial institutions to hold Bitcoin on behalf of their customers. And it's starting to lay the foundation for how crypto should be treated on balance sheets across the board. So I think the second aspect of this is it'll be interesting to see what happens in terms of regulatory reform in accounting practices and how Bitcoin should be reported on balance sheets for publicly traded companies. So like we talked about this a few weeks back when we covered Michael Saylor on MicroStrategy, the accounting reforms that are coming for businesses that change the way they have to report cryptocurrency will improve, I think, the overall picture of what these businesses look like. So it's good to see the SEC moving in this direction as well.
It's so exciting because there are people who are a little bit more avant-garde trying to actually create businesses that anticipate this idea that crypto will become more readily acceptable within the United States, right? This whole idea, is it going to be banned completely? Is it going to be things for other countries? Blah, blah, blah. And so like we had seen something a couple of months back where there was this mortgage company that was offered mortgages, and I forget all the details of it, but essentially part of the mortgage was part of the arrangement required the borrower to buy a certain amount of Bitcoin that's held in escrow with the lender, and then that was used like one to generate profits in order to pay back the mortgage sooner if Bitcoin went up, but also as a way to protect the lender from default, because they would be able to get that Bitcoin back. The way that the person had explained it in such a way that it was actually so much more profitable and safer for them that they can actually issue more mortgages, that people, when they were done paying down their mortgage, actually could have some extra money on the side. They weren't just at break even. It was this whole strange thing where it was like this win-win scenario. And I want to see more of these sort of experiments of crypto. I want to see employers start offering cryptocurrency as part for, in addition to a pay, so that if both the employer or the employee had some sort of like penchant for a particular type of crypto coin, they could just get paid in that directly, and it was like some sort of benefit to them. Maybe it costs less for the company to do it, and you're buying it because you think later on it'll be worth more money. So then the company could hire more people because it's less on the dollars that they spend immediately for payroll. I just want to see all kinds of new things. Micro lending for people, so that people can lend back and forth, and you don't have to worry about what's going to happen when you have to report it to the government at the end of the year. All these different kinds of things. And so the reason why I like the Trump thing plus the policy altogether is that the range of possible outcomes are now, to me, as wide as it can get.
Sure. Yeah.
I can't imagine anything more broad accepted for the crypto world than this. And so for me, the trade is long all hype coins. And long, I mean, I want to go back into the Safe Moon pool. I want to go back into the Hex pool and find as many meme tokens as I can find that have that engine behind it, because I see no reason not to.
So we have a comment here. Michael says, so it's the end of $Trump or Trump coin in general. That's a tough one to answer, but I think Tom's point here is right now it seems like the trade, especially across crypto, is to look for these types of blow up opportunities the moment that they launch. And as we mentioned earlier, there are people out there that are constantly scanning the blockchains in order to look for new tokens that are issued and see if they can tie them to any type of event that's occurring on Twitter or any type of a celebrity of any kind. Obviously, when Trump announced his news that he had launched this token on Truth Social, the traders immediately took to the dexes in order to start trading this. So maybe the end of Trump, but certainly not the end of hype coins or meme coins or this new ecosystem that attempts to allow people access to effectively marketing events. I'm not necessarily a fan of this. I don't know what it's actually producing. I'm a bigger fan of investing in companies, but if you're a fan of trading on short-term opportunities, this one seems like as good a one as any.
So let me pitch it this way. This is what I want to. So, because I want TradersPost to be key to this, because I don't want to be paying attention to all these coins. So I put money inside of my Kraken account, just a little taster, and I'm building out this little AI thing that's going to grab, it's an email account that's just going to get all the newsletters, all the Twitter accounts, all the whatever,
Okay.
RSS feeds.
So follow the whole world. Okay.
Exactly. Let this AI bot just try to figure out what kind of meme tokens are there, and then it can go ahead and purchase it in an automated way through the system, and I don't have to think about it.
You know, I would probably do it the inverse of that. I would scan the major blockchains, Solana, or any of the blockchains where many of these meme coins are being launched. Right? Is it Uniswap? Is another really common one that people are using? Okay, scan the whole chain, every new address that's created, every new contract that's created, then save that address, and then start to search all of Twitter, all of Google. Like the moment that address is now referenced somewhere else,
right.
that makes it easier for you to discover who's actually talking about it, right? Because that's the only way this works. Is all these addresses get created all the time, but they don't necessarily have a ton of information about what they are until maybe later. But scanning a new address each time it's created and then figuring out where it shows up on the web after the fact, that seems like a much easier task.
Okay, there we go. That's exactly what I'm going to do. You know what? I knew there's a reason I do these shows with you, Mike. I was giving you these great ideas.